is the element of culture. So we talked about the elements of culture. We talked about the status. We talked about your role. We talked about your norms. We talked about the value, your identity. So all these things are vis-a-vis or put together to make the society we have. So we don't have a society if we don't have culture. So how do we go in this society? So things we do in this society are guided by our culture. Do you get the point here? So the society we have, this is a school, it's a society. So this school that we have, this society that we have, is being guided by some rules, some norms, some regulations. So all these things must come into places before we can talk about having a society. Do you get my point here? Yeah. So we don't talk about the society without talking about the culture that has to be in place. Is it clear? Yeah. So part of the elements of culture are the status you have, your roles, and the identity. So these are parts of the elements of culture. So in the society we have, when we need to talk about our culture, we need to discuss about our status, we need to discuss about our identity, and we need to discuss about our roles in that society. Is it clear?
Yes.
So, status itself, it is the position someone has in society. So the position you hold in the society is your status. What you are in that society is your status. Is that clear?
Yes.
So you have a status which is a sociology student. As you are in this class, you are a sociology student. You got the point here. So because you are a sociology student, your status in this class, in this society, is the status of a sociology student. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So your teacher, which is a sociology teacher and vice principal. So my status is a sociology teacher and a vice principal. So these are the two roles I have. These are the two status I have. These are the two positions I have in this society. Do you understand how it is now? So what you are, what you do, the position you hold in the society is what we call status. Is status clear now? Any question about status?
No.
Okay. Then we said in the family you have a status as the first, the second, or the third child, and your parents have their statuses too, which is father and mother. So in your family, which is your primary socialization, you have a status, maybe as a first child, maybe as a second child, maybe as a last child. You have a status, you have a position in your family. So not only the secondary socialization, even in the primary socialization, which is primary, which is the family, you have a status. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So your status will determine your role in society. So the status you have, the position you are holding in this society, will determine the role, you are playing in the society. So your role will be determined by what? Your status. Do you understand how role will come into place now? So there's going to be a status before we talk about a role. So your position will determine your role in the society. Do you get the point here?
Yes.
So roles are patterns of behavior expected from someone based on their status. So I am expecting this role as a sociology student. I'm expecting you to understand the concept of sociology. And not just to understand the concept of sociology, but putting it in place, putting it in practice, making it empirical. When you go out there, you have to be distinguished, you have to be unique to others because you are studying the society. So they should see how the society is being run in you. They should be able to trust you with questions about the society. That is your status. Now you are performing the role as a member of a sociologist class that can explain to other students or others who don't understand sociology or others who don't pass through sociology. So whatever the society is expected of you because of the role, because of the status you have, is what we call your role. So your status will come before we talk about your role. So your role will come after your status. So who you are in society will determine what you do in the society. Do you understand how it works now? Your status, your position. What function does your position take? What do you do with your position? That is your role. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So at this stage, it is important to discuss society and culture, though they are not the same, but are interchangeable. What do we mean by interchangeable? We have to put them together. You have the state, you have the culture, you have the society. You have the society, we have the culture. we can't do without both of them. Do you understand this point here?
Yeah.
So we can't discuss culture without talking about society. Society is made up of institutions, both the formal ones such as schools or the educational system. They are formal. And the informal, which is what? The family. So why is it formal? Why is education formal? Educational system is formal because it is guided by certain rules. It is guided by what? Rules. So there are rules, there are regulations. They are backed by law. It is government approved. So they are institutions that gives us education. So that's why they are formal. For the family, the peer group, the friends you have outside the school, they are informal. So you could choose the friend you want. You could choose the family you want to belong to. Those ones are informal. They don't give education. They don't give you the curriculum that the school will give to you. Do you understand the point here? It is formal because we have syllabuses, we have curriculum to follow. That's formal. But informal, we don't have curriculum, we don't have syllabus. We base it on tradition. We base it on our norms. My culture might be different from your culture. My tradition might be different from your tradition. What we do in our family might be different from what you do in your family. So because there are differences in our families, there are differences in what we do, they are informal. But in schools, they are formal because what they do are almost the same.
Yeah.
Do you understand the difference here?
Yes.
So formal because we are doing almost what the government wants us to do. It's informal because we choose what we want to do. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So, social institutions. These are part of the society that have their own norms and values, such as family and educational system. So, whatever institution we have in this society, they are all social institutions. Why do we call them social institutions? We call them social institutions because they have their own norms, they have their own values, they have their own laws, they have their own regulations, they have their own way of doing things. So they are institutions, they are established for certain purpose. Like the school, they are established for certain purpose. Like the banks, they are established for certain purpose. Like the Ministry of Education, like the Ministry of Transportation, they are established for certain purposes. So because of this reason, they are institutions. And we call them social institutions. Do we understand?
Yes.
Okay. So the norms and values of our culture is part of our social identity. So now we understand what social institutions are, right?
Yeah.
The establishments that have their own norms, they have their own values, they have their own identity, they have their own rules, they have their own regulations, they have the way they do their own things. They are social institutions. So, but we as an individual that live in the society, we have our own what? Social identity. So I have my own identity, you have your own identity, Bilasam has her own identity, Asha has her own identity, same as Mala. So every individual have their own identity. Same as a group of people, we have our own identity, like the business department students. It's an identity. So what is an identity? What you want people to call you, and what you think people are calling you, that you're saying yes to. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So social identity, this is an individual perception of him or herself based on the idea of how people see them in the society. So your perception, your idea, your thoughts about how people feel or see you in the society as a Nigerian, as a Libyan, as a sociology student, as a sociology teacher. So you are creating an identity for yourself. So what you have in your mind that makes you think this is what you have in the society is what we call social identity. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So the kind of identity you want is that you will answer. Is that you will answer. So the kind of identity you want is that you will answer. So I might call Bilasam a Libyan and she doesn't answer because she's not a Libyan. Maybe she's a Japanese. You got the point here.
Yeah.
So she's not going to answer me because she's not a Libyan. She will only answer me if she is a Libyan. You might call me a Moroccan, but I'm not. So I'm going to tell you, no, I am not. I'm a Nigerian. Because this is the identity I want you to see me or to call me. So that is why I said, the kind of identity you want is that you will answer. I might choose to call you business students. And you might say, no, we're not. We are science students. No, we're not. We are engineering students. That is the identity you want. Is it clear?
Yes.
So we can never talk about our society without talking about our culture. And we can't talk about culture leaving aside society, because both culture and society, they work together. And when we talk about our culture, that means we're talking about how our society is being run. How do we manage our society? What do we do in our society? So this will cut across our status in the society, our roles in the society, and the identity. So your status in the society is the position you hold in that society. The position you hold in that society will determine the position you have in the society. Now, the position you have in the society will carry out the functions you have to do or perform in the society. Then you think about what you have in this society, what you want people to call you in this society, which is what? Social identity. Thank you. So you call it social identity or you call it identity. So this is the perception you have in your mind that makes you think this is what you have. So we have different kinds of identity. We have the gender identity. What is gender identity? Yeah. You want to be called a man. You want to be called a woman. So it is an identity you have ascribed to. Like, oh, I'm a man. So this is that. So when you talk about the male gender, I am part of the male gender. When you talk about the female gender, she is part of the female gender. So we are creating an identity for ourselves. Any question about this? Are they clear?
Yes.
So that's all about elements of culture, the status, the roles, and the identity.